Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This is Jason from Dream Canada. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you a sample of a reference letter or a work experience letter in the CIC format, which you can use for your Canada PR or PNP applications and for any other job applications to Canada from your home country. You'll also need this format if you're going to Canada as a student and if you'll need to apply for a job after finishing your study course. As you guys know by now, the IRCC has very specific requirements as far as their work experience letter or reference letter format goes. You need to include a lot of very specific details about your job profile, your duties and responsibilities that are similar to your NOC code, and many a times your PR applications do get rejected if your work experience letter is not in the proper format. Just to show you that the letter I have drafted for you is in the proper IRCC format, I'll open the IRCC website along with my sample reference letter so that you can compare the information and see that I've included all the points that are mentioned on the IRCC website. Please make sure that your reference letter has all these details that I've mentioned in the video, because your PR application will definitely get refused if you miss even one of these things that the IRCC has clearly explained on their website. So you don't need to worry, I've explained everything in detail along with what an NOC code is and how you can find your NOC code to make sure that you write the correct duties and responsibilities in your reference letter. I have also marked all the important parts in the reference letter in red so that you know that you have to pay special attention to all these points and make sure that you don't mess up with any of them. You can create your reference letter based on the format that I'll be showing you, with a few edits of course based on your job profile. For those of you who have not subscribed yet, do remember to subscribe because I post regular updates on Canadian immigration processes and a lot of tips that will help you get your PR or Canada student visas faster. So without wasting any more time, let's move on to the reference letter format. So here's a sample of a reference letter that you can use for your Canadian immigration processes. I've made this for your convenience so that it's easy for you to understand. I'll explain this letter to you briefly and then we can go on the IRCC website and verify whether all the information mentioned on the IRCC website is present on our reference letter here. So without wasting any more time, your reference letter has to be printed on your company letterhead. You can't use a blank piece of paper or a simple printed sheet. It has to be on your company letterhead that mentions your company's name, its physical address, and other contact details like the email address and telephone numbers. It has to mention the date that this letter was drafted for you. As you can see, I've drafted this letter from the employer's point of view. It has to, of course, mention your name, your position and job title, and it should include all the positions that you worked at in the company, even if you've received a promotion. For example, if your title is advertising account manager here, if you had joined as an advertising account officer, then you must mention the joining date and the date that you started working as an ad account manager. If you're still working with the company, it should specify the date that you will be leaving the company. It should mention whether your job was a full-time or part-time job and the number of working hours in a week. As you can see here, 40 hours a week, which comes up to about 8 hours a day if you're working 5 days in a week. It should also mention your annual salary and also all your benefits like travel allowance, medical allowance, food and accommodation, etc. Now comes the very important part, which is your roles and responsibilities. Kindly note, this is a very important part of the reference letter. If the details are wrong over here, then there are chances that your PR application may be rejected. You have to make sure that your duties and responsibilities mentioned in your reference letter match the duties and responsibilities of your particular NOC code as explained on the IRCC website. So if you don't know what an NOC code is, it's basically the classification of your job according to your duties and responsibilities. If you want to know what your NOC code is, you just have to go on Google and type NOC code Canada. The first option you see will be Find Your NOC. If you click on that, you'll come across a page where all the NOC codes and the skill types are explained in detail. For instance, skill type 0 would include restaurant managers, skill type C would include butchers and long-haul truck drivers. So all you have to do is scroll below and find this section on Find Your Job Title, Code and Skill Type, in which you'll find a detailed table which contains all the NOC levels. So if you open this in a new window, you can search by your job title or your NOC code if you already know what your NOC code is. For example, If you want to search for advertising account manager, for instance, so we enter advertising account manager here and hit search, and the desired NOC code would appear right in front of you. Professional occupations in advertising, marketing, and public relations. To further ensure that your job title is present in this particular NOC code, you can have a look at the titles below. If you don't find this here, don't worry, you can just hit on index of titles. This is just a brief overview. If you hit on index of titles, you'll get the complete overview of all the occupations listed in this NOC code. So as you can see right here, we have advertising account executive and advertising account manager right here, which is present in our reference letter. So your NOC code would be 1123. Now if you scroll a little below, you'll find the main duties and responsibilities that these particular NOC codes have to have. So your particular work experience should basically highlight some of these duties and responsibilities pertaining to this particular NOC level here. So I'm not telling you to copy all these duties as it is. What you can do is draft them slightly differently, as I have done here for this reference letter. For example, the point here mentioned is advise clients on advertising or sales promotion strategies, which I've carefully drafted as suggesting clients probable advertising or marketing strategies. So as you can see, it's not exactly the same. You also have to make sure that you don't write this exactly the same as it is, because your immigration officer might question you on this. Develop and implement advertising campaigns appropriate for print or electronic media has been revised as conducting ad campaigns for print or social media to highlight a client's products or services. So as you can see, you have to basically draft your reference letter based on the duties and responsibilities mentioned under your particular NOC code for your occupation. You have to also make sure that you actually did this kind of work and you just don't copy everything here and put it in your reference letter, because the immigration officials will ask you about your job and they might ask you about what advertising campaigns you had, and they might ask you supporting documents and proof as well. So you should be ready to answer them as and when they ask you any question relating to your job profile. Moving on from roles and responsibilities, the next thing that should be mentioned is the reason why you left your company. This should ideally be on good terms and with satisfactory conduct. As you can see, he or she resigned from his or her position at our company to pursue other career opportunities or probably further studies. During their tenure of work, their conduct was satisfactory and they bear a good moral character. So this is basically reflecting on your performance at your previous job. You should also make sure that your supervisor or manager writes this line in the letter, which states that they are happy to provide further information if required. Because if the immigration officials want to verify all the details in your reference letter, they want to verify your job profile and the work that you did for the company, they do have the authority to contact whoever has drafted this letter for you or your company officials to verify all the things that you have mentioned in this reference letter. So it's very important that the person drafting this letter for you is cooperative and they are ready to provide any further information if needed. Concluding the letter, you'll need a signature of your manager, personnel officer, your boss, or your immediate supervisor. Below the signature should be the name of the person signing and the rank or title of the person that is drafting this letter for you. Along with that should be your company or office stamp to further ensure the credibility of this reference letter. So now that I've briefly explained the parts of the reference letter, let's just verify that all of these details have been covered from the IRCC website. So if you want to check all the details that need to be in your reference letter directly from the IRCC website, all you have to do is go on Google and type Canada PR reference letter and look for this particular website, canada.ca. So this is the official Government of Canada website for applications for permanent residence programs. If you click on this, you can have a look at the complete requirements to submit your electronic application for PR, in which you have a documents checklist, which lists the mandatory documents, which includes medical exams, police clearance certificates, your passport details, and at last your proof of work experience. So if you come to this section, as you can see, to prove your work experience you need the following documents, and The format also is explained along with all the details that should be mentioned. So this is a reference or experience letter from an employer. This should be on an official document printed on a company letterhead, which we have covered here. It should be printed strictly on a company letterhead. This must include the applicant's name, the company contact information. So as you can see, it has your name, the company's contact information, which includes the address and the email address and telephone number, the name, title and signature of your immediate supervisor or personnel officer at your company, which we have covered below in the signatories section. As you can see, manager, personnel officer, boss or immediate supervisor. It should indicate all the positions held while employed at the company and must include the following details. So this would be your first paragraph, in which your job title is mentioned and all the other job titles if you've received any promotions within the company. The other details should be your duties and responsibilities, which we have covered in detail below. Your job status if you're currently employed or if you have already left your job. The dates worked for your company if you've left a job, as we have written here, the day, month and year of joining until the day, month and year of leaving. The number of work hours per week and annual salary plus benefits. So here you have your number of hours per week and your salary, annual salary and the benefits included as well. The other section is if you are self-employed, if you're not employed under any company and if you have your own business. So you can use your articles of incorporation, your registration certificate of your business, the property documents for your business, your self-employment income and documentation from third-party individuals, which would include bill of sales or any service receipts that you share with your clients, and other income tax documents as applicable. Please note that self-declared duties or affidavits are not accepted at all. So you cannot self-declare any document to prove your work experience even if you're self-employed. So who needs to provide this reference letters? The individuals who must submit this documentation would be the principal applicant that applies for your Canada PR, and if your spouse or common partner also is applying along with you and you are using their work experience to gain additional CRS points. As you can see here, if work experience in Canada is claimed. So if you are the primary applicant and your spouse has work experience and they can get the work experience letter, reference letter in the CIC format as explained here, you can claim additional CRS points for that as well. So as you can see, we've covered all the points mentioned here in our reference letter over here. I've highlighted all these details in red to make sure that you don't miss out on any of this important information. You'll of course have to draft it according to your job profile. So I'll let you have a better look at this reference letter here. Let's just click on multiple pages so that you can see clearly. So again, on a company letterhead, your company name, physical address, email address and phone number, the date, your name and your title, along with the date of joining and leaving your job, your work hours per week, your annual salary and the benefits, your roles and responsibilities, which are very important, and the reason for you to quit your job, your service details and your conduct, and the very important details of your manager, personnel officer or immediate supervisors, along with the company stamp. So guys, that was all the information on your reference letter or work experience letter that you need for your Canada immigration processes. If you have any doubts, do remember to comment below because I answer all your comments and queries. Make sure to like the video if you found this information useful. Do remember to subscribe for regular updates on the Canadian immigration processes. I wish you guys all the best for your application and hope you guys have a great day.